For 5 years, Rivian and the American electric vehicle industry told the world that winter range loss is a battery chemistry problem, that when temperatures drop below freezing lithium-ion cells slow down, and there is nothing an automaker can do about it. It was never a chemistry problem. The BYD Tang EV just proved every word of it wrong. Here is the number that changes everything: Rivian's R1T Max Pack. A $79,800 adventure truck loses 33.1% of its range at 20 degrees Fahrenheit. That is 104 miles gone from the EPA rating on a single winter drive. Battery chemistry accounts for roughly 10 to 12 percentage points of that loss. The remaining 20 percentage points, representing $21,000 worth of range on a truck priced at $79,800, is not physics. It is a heater, a resistive electric heater running at coefficient of performance 1.0, a technology unchanged from a 1950s baseboard unit, drawing 24 kilowatt hours of your battery capacity over a 3-hour highway run just to keep the cabin warm. The BYD Tang EV, a 7-seat SUV priced at approximately $40,000, runs a heat pump achieving COP 3.2. For the same cabin warmth, it draws 9.6 kilowatt hours. The gap is 14.4 kilowatt hours per drive. That is not a battery story. This is not just an engineering story. This is a supply chain story, a jobs story, a Detroit story, and one that the $13.7 billion bet on Rivian's IPO never saw coming. The American truck and SUV owner has always understood cold weather. Before electric vehicles, before hybrid drivetrains, the internal combustion engine had an accidental advantage in winter that nobody designed on purpose waste heat. A gasoline engine converts roughly 30% of its fuel energy into motion. The remaining 70% exits as heat through the exhaust, through the radiator, and critically, through the cabin heater. That waste heat was free. It cost the driver nothing in range, nothing in efficiency. Winter in Minnesota or Michigan was never a problem for a V8 because the V8 was already throwing away more heat than the cabin could use. When the American EV industry arrived, it inherited a cold weather problem that combustion had never been forced to solve. The first generation of electric vehicles, Nissan Leaf, early Tesla Model S, early Chevrolet Bolt, used resistive heating because it was simple, proven, and cheap to integrate. A resistive heater is a wire that gets hot when electricity runs through it. There is no engineering sophistication involved. The coefficient of performance is 1.0. By definition, 1 unit of electricity in 1 unit of heat, out no more. Rivian launched in 2021 as the most funded EV startup in American history, backed by Amazon and Ford, celebrated by the financial press as proof that the next chapter of American automotive manufacturing had begun. Its R1T truck arrived with a 135 kilowatt-hour battery pack, larger than any production EV at the time, and a resistive heater that had not advanced beyond what was standard on the 2011 Nissan Leaf. No one asked why. The range numbers were impressive on paper, the design was striking, and the early reviews were written in summer. Winter came, and then the data started arriving. But while American owners were filing their first cold weather complaints into Rivian's forums, something else was already in production. Not in Michigan, not in California, but in Shenzhen. A system that treated cabin heat not as an inevitable cost, but as an engineering problem to be solved. The fundamental problem of heating an electric vehicle cabin in winter is not a battery problem. It is a thermodynamics problem. Heat must come from somewhere. In a gasoline truck, it came for free from engine waste. In an electric vehicle, it must be manufactured, and the method chosen determines how much of your range survives the process. Rivian chose positive temperature. Coefficient resistive heating, electricity flows through a ceramic element. Resistance converts that electricity directly into heat, and the heat enters the cabin. The physics ceiling is fixed. 1 kilowatt of electrical energy produces exactly 1 kilowatt of thermal output. COP 1.0. There is no mechanism to exceed this. It is not a software problem or a calibration problem. The law of energy conservation does not negotiate. BYD engineered a different answer for the Tang EV. Its integrated heat pump does not generate heat, it moves heat. A refrigerant circuit extracts thermal energy already present in the outside air, even at -10 degrees, Celsius 14 degrees. Fahrenheit compresses it to concentrate the energy and delivers it to the cabin. The compressor consumes 3.2 kilowatts of electricity. The output is 8 kilowatts of cabin warmth. COP 3.2. You are not creating energy from nothing. You are relocating thermal energy that already exists in the environment at a fraction of the electrical cost. The real-world gap on a 3-hour drive across I-90 in South Dakota at 20 degrees Fahrenheit Rivian R1T draws 24 kilowatt-hours for heat. BYD Tang EV draws 9.6 kilowatt-hours for identical comfort. The R1T's 135 kilowatt-hour pack just lost 17.8% of its capacity before the motor turned to single wheel for forward motion. The American EV buyer has been trained to evaluate winter range loss as a single number EPA rating versus cold weather reality. Rivian publishes 314 miles. Recurrent Auto's fleet study of 7,000 vehicles returns 210 miles at 20 degrees Fahrenheit. The difference is 104 miles and 33.1%. That headline number obscures a critical split. Battery chemistry degradation in cold reduced ion mobility increased internal resistance accounts for approximately 10 to 12 percentage points of that loss. At 20 degrees Fahrenheit, the R1T's battery pack delivers measurably less power than at 70 degrees Fahrenheit. This portion is physics, and it is non-negotiable with current lithium-ion chemistry. The remaining 20 to 21 percentage points are the heater bill. Not physics, not chemistry. Engineering overhead that BYD Tang EV's heat pump eliminates by 60%. Run the numbers directly on a 314-mile EPA vehicle. 12% chemistry loss leaves 276 miles. The Tang EV heat pump, drawing 9.6 kilowatt-hours instead of 24 kilowatt-hours over 3 hours, recovers approximately 14.4 kilowatt-hours, equivalent to roughly 40 additional miles of range on a comparable pack. Applied to the R1T scenario with a heat pump winter range, would be approximately 257 miles instead of 210. That is one fewer charging stop on a Minneapolis to Des Moines run. At a 30-minute DC fast charge per stop, that is 30 minutes of your winter road trip that Rivian's resistive heater is costing you every single drive. Abstract kilowatt-hours become concrete in a specific scenario. A Ram 1500 owner in Duluth, Minnesota, considering the switch to Rivian R1T. January average temperature, 8 degrees Fahrenheit, minus 13 degrees Celsius. Round trip to Minneapolis, 310 miles. The R1T Max Pack has enough EPA range to complete that run without charging on paper. At 8 degrees Fahrenheit recurrence data suggests real-world range falls closer to 185 to 195 miles. The 310-mile round trip now requires a charging stop each direction. 2 charging stops approximately 30 to 40 minutes each at a working DC fast charger in January in northern Minnesota, a state where charging infrastructure outside the Twin Cities remains sparse. The BYD Tang EV's heat pump system tested under similar ambient conditions. By ADASE, Europe's largest automotive testing organization, retains approximately 78 to 82% of rated range at minus 10 degrees Celsius. Applied to an equivalent 270-mile pack, 211 to 222 miles at Duluth temperatures, still requiring 1 charging stop round trip, not 2. That difference is not theoretical. It is the operational gap between a vehicle that integrates cold weather engineering and one that does not. For the Duluth owner, it is the difference between a tool and an inconvenience. And it is the difference that a $40,000 Chinese SUV has already solved, while an $80,000 American truck has not. Rivian is not alone. The thermal management failure embedded in the R1T is not a startup mistake. It is an industry pattern repeated across the American EV truck segment by companies with vastly more engineering resources and decades of cold weather vehicle development. Ford's electric F-150 is the most symbolically significant EV in American history. The electrification of the best-selling vehicle in the United States for 47 consecutive years. The Lightning's engineering credentials are genuine affront that doubles as a generator pro power on board, delivering 9.6 kilowatts of export power and a front motor and rear motor configuration tuned specifically for towing stability. Ford got the utility architecture right. Ford did not get the thermal architecture right. The F-150 Lightning runs resistive PTC heating at 20 degrees Fahrenheit AAA, and recurrent data place its real-world range at approximately 210 miles against an EPA rating of up to 320 miles, a 34.4% winter penalty, nearly identical to the R1T's. MSRP starts at $54,995 for the standard range, reaching $89,995 for the Platinum. At every price point, the thermal system is the same 1.0 COP resistive heater. GM's Ultium platform represents a genuine architectural commitment, 800-volt capable modular cell format scalable across multiple vehicle lines. The Silverado EV work truck delivers up to 400 miles of EPA-rated range, the longest of any American electric truck. The Ultium platform's battery management software is sophisticated. Its cabin heating strategy in first-generation production vehicles is not. The Silverado EV also omits a heat pump, defaulting to resistive PTC. In sub-freezing temperatures, GM's own data acknowledges range reductions that align with the broader EV industry average, approximately 30 to 40% in extreme cold. For a vehicle positioned to replace diesel work trucks across the Midwest's winter construction season, this is not a footnote. It is a product limitation. Tesla integrated a heat pump into the Model Y in 2021, using what it called an octovalve thermal management system, a single valve controlling refrigerant flow across battery motor and cabin circuits simultaneously. The result Model Y real-world winter range retention of approximately 80 to 85% at 20 degrees Fahrenheit, significantly above the resistive heat American truck average. Tesla demonstrated in production at scale in 2021 that heat pump integration was achievable, cost-effective, and competitively decisive. Ford, GM, and Rivian watched. None of the three applied the lesson to their truck platforms in the same product cycle. The Cybertruck Tesla's entry into the truck segment also carries heat pump architecture. Its winter range performance reflects this recurrent data, places Cybertruck cold weather retention closer to 75 to 78% at 20 degrees Fahrenheit below the Model Y, but substantially above the F-150, Lightning and R1T at 65 to 67%. The gap between Tesla's truck and Ford's truck in winter is not primarily a battery gap. It is a thermal management gap, the same gap the BYD Tang EV has engineered around from day one in a vehicle costing $40,000 less than the Cybertruck Foundation series. The market implication is not subtle. American EV trucks are selling winter range promises that their thermal architecture cannot keep. Every owner who discovers this discrepancy in January is a customer whose next purchase decision has been reframed not by Chinese advertising, but by their own driveway. The heat pump gap between the BYD Tang EV and the American EV truck segment is not a story about one component. It is a story about who controls the supply chain that produces that component and what happens to American manufacturing when the answer is not Michigan. Heat pump compressors for electric vehicles require rare earth magnets. precision refrigerant valves, and inverter-controlled variable-speed drives. China currently dominates production of all three input categories: Sandon Valeo and Hanon Systems. The primary EV heat pump compressor suppliers operate their largest manufacturing capacity in China and South Korea. The United States has no domestic production of EV heat pump compressors at scale. When Ford or Rivian eventually integrates heat pump technology into their next-generation truck platforms, the compressors will in all likelihood come from the same Chinese industrial ecosystem that is currently powering BYD's competitive advantage. This is the structural contradiction that tariffs cannot resolve. The Biden and Trump administrations impose combined tariffs of up to 100% on Chinese EVs entering the American market. Those tariffs have kept the BYD Tang EV off American showroom floors. They have not transferred heat pump manufacturing capability to Ohio or Tennessee. They have not accelerated Ford's or Rivian's thermal integration timeline. A tariff wall keeps the competing product out. It does not build the engineering competency needed to match it. For UAW workers, the consequence is specific: the next generation of American EV trucks. The vehicles that will determine whether domestic EV manufacturing survives the 2030s will be designed around components sourced from a supply chain that American labor does not control and American policy has not redirected. Heat pump integration is not the entire battle, but it is a visible, measurable indicator of which industrial ecosystem is moving faster and which one has already decided what the baseline looks like. What happens next depends not on tariffs, but on whether American engineering culture can move faster than it has in the last 40 years. Here is what the data has established without ambiguity. A $40,000 Chinese SUV retains more usable range in a Minnesota winter than a $79,800 American adventure truck. Not because its battery is larger, not because its motor is more powerful, but because an engineer in Shenzhen solved the thermodynamics problem in 2021 that an engineer in Normal, Illinois chose not to. Rivian will tell you the R2 has a heat pump. It does. The R2 is not the vehicle in 200,000 owners' driveways today. The owners of R1T Max Pack trucks, who paid $79,800 and are now driving 210 miles on a Minnesota January run, are not driving R2S. They're driving the consequence of a product decision that prioritized launch speed over thermal engineering, and they will drive that consequence for the next 8 to 12 years of vehicle ownership. The BYD Tang EV will not be sold in the United States. Tariffs will ensure that. But the engineering principle it demonstrates is already inside the vehicles that will compete with American trucks in Canada, in Europe and Australia, and in every market where a 100% tariff wall does not exist. The Tang EV is not the threat. The Tang EV is the proof of concept. The threat is what comes next, built on the same thermal foundation, at the same price point, with 5 additional years of iteration behind it. Detroit has faced disruption before from Japan in the 1970s, from Germany in the 1990s, from Tesla in the 2010s. Each time the initial response was the same dismissal, then panic, then a decade of expensive catch-up. The question is not whether Chinese thermal engineering works. The data from Duluth to Des Moines has already answered that. The question is whether American truck buyers will still be waiting for Detroit to catch up, or whether they will have already made a different decision.